Uh, Good afternoon and greetings to all of you. I believe the most difficult session to conduct is the one which is just before lunch, because today I'm here standing between you and lunch. Uh, but nevertheless, I spoke to Mr. Jain. He said, no, I need to continue. Uh, so, first of all, many thanks to ICMI and Dr. Jain for this entire invitation. I was surprised when this invite came to me. And I was pleasantly surprised that cost and management accountant team is really bothering and discussing circular economy. So that was a very, very pleasant surprise to me. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I said, yes, I would participate and I would like to share my thoughts. Uh, there are two mega trends which are shaping the businesses for tomorrow. One mega trend is Industry 4.0, which is being driven by IoT, AI, and blockchain and others. And the second mega trend, which is really reshaping the world of tomorrow, is sustainability. And the circular economy is one of the most integral part of sustainability. So what we are going to do is, in this entire session, Mr. Pandya has already set the stage. So in this session, we will be discussing what are the various business models in sustainability or in circular economy, and we will deep dive into those particular models. Mr. Pandya showed one slide on those particular models, and we are going to zoom out that particular slide. And for next, I would try to keep it to maybe maximum of half an hour. Yeah. Okay, so starting with this, so when we say linear economy, we are talking about mainly, yeah, take, make, use, and dispose. That is what we mean by linear economy. So we extract virgin resources. When I say virgin resources, it could be crude oil, it could be wood, it could be fish, it could be ore. So we take these particular virgin material from Mother Earth, we process them, convert into raw material. From raw material, we convert them into finished good. We retail and sell them. We use them. At the end of the life, we put it to some kind of a landfill or incinerate them. So this kind of economy is what we mean by linear economy, which Mr. Pandya also spoke about. Now, what we try to do in circular economy is that we try to eliminate the first and the last boxes from this entire chain. So what we are basically trying to do is that we are trying to ensure that we do not use any kind of a virgin material. We'll come to what kind of a material to use, and we will also try to ensure that nothing goes into landfill and incineration. So when we are able to achieve these two factors, or when we are able to eliminate these two boxes, we are able to create a closed loop, and that particular closed loop is what we call as a circular economy. So this is a depiction of circular economy which has been created by me, and this particular depiction of circular economy is something that I'm going to use throughout this entire presentation. So I would like to very quickly take you through this depiction. So to begin with, whatever material that we use has to be either a renewable material like say a bamboo, or maybe a recycled material or a bio-based material. And that particular material we use for manufacturing, then we retail and use it. We try to use the extent to the extent possible the usage of the entire product, and then at the end of the life we ensure that nothing goes into landfill and it is recycled back to the system. So when we are able to create this entire system is what we call as a circular economy, which is a closed loop. And there are various ways and means that by which we are able to do it, and that is what we mean by circular economy models. So basically, there are five models which are there. Uh, this has come from Mr. Pandya spoke about World Economic Forum, but there is a seminal paper which came from Accenture in 2015. That was the first time that these particular models came into being, and these particular five models are product life extension, product as a service, sharing economy, circular supply chain, and resource recovery. And in next 15 to 20 minutes, we will deep dive into all these particular five models. So what you see on the screen is some kind of a, I would say, a snapshot as to how and where these particular models work in the circular economy. As far as circular business model is concerned, that tries to ensure that we do not use virgin material and we use renewable or recycled material. Uh, the product life extension and the sharing model try to extend the economic life of the product, and the resource recovery model ensures that we recycle everything that is there at the end of the life. And when we combine all of them, then there is something called product as a service model, where the producer becomes responsible for the entire life cycle of that particular product. So this was just a snapshot of all the 5 models so that you get a glimpse of what these particular models mean. So let me start with the first model, which is product life extension. So what we are basically trying to do is in the product life extension is that we are trying to extend the economic life or the usable life of the product. And this we can do in multiple ways. We can do it through repair, we can do it through remanufacturing, refurbishing, upgrades, remanufacturing, recycle. So there are multiple, so not recycle, but resales. So there are multiple ways by which we can achieve this. Uh, Suppose we are able to double the life of the product. So if you are able to double the life of the product, that means the number of product or the raw material which will be consumed will be almost half. So that would be a sustainability impact also, and the customer will also be costing, or customer will also be spending half the money. So there is a benefit to the sustainability of the earth also, and there is a benefit to the customer as well. So, what are the ways and means to do it? One, first, try to manufacture more lasting product. So, the example that you see on the screen, so there is an example between say a Duracell battery and a Eveready battery. So, Duracell tries to produce a battery which is far more lasting as compared to maybe an Eveready battery. So, your usage become maybe one half or one third of a maybe Eveready battery. Similarly, it could be a Reebok shoes or maybe Nike shoes as compared to a regular shoes. So as long as you are producing a shoes which are more lasting, then obviously you are extending the usable life of the product. Some other ways of doing it could be repair. So I need not to explain repair. Then it could be an upgrade. So suppose in a laptop, suppose we add RAM, or we increase the hard disk capacity, or we add certain cards to that, then we can increase the life of that particular laptop. And that is what we mean when we say upgrade. Refurbishing. So we can improve the quality and the life of the product by refurbishing. So that would mean some kind of a cleaning, some kind of a repairing and others. And through refurbishing also we can increase the life of the product. Then remanufacturing. In remanufacturing, we deassemble the product and we try to find out which components are usable and which components are not usable. Which are not usable or which are worn out, we replace them and we come up with a product which is as good as a new product. So that is what we mean by remanufacturing. So these are all the ways by which we can increase the life of the product, and that is what we mean by product life extension. Uh, just to come to some examples. So have you heard about this company called Cashify? Yeah. Do we understand the model of this company? Or next time, if anybody has to return their laptop, I would definitely, mobile phone, I would definitely urge you to go to this particular company called Cashify. So what Cashify does is that you go to their website, you enter, these are your mobile details, this is your model number, this is your invoice, this is how long you have been using it. And what Cashify will does is that they will give you a value of that particular mobile. And if you accept that particular value of the mobile, they will come and pick up the mobile from your place. And the money is paid to you. That's it. Now, what they will do is they will take back this particular mobile, they will refurbish that mobile, and then they will resell that particular mobile. So they can resell either through online platforms like Flipkart and Amazon also, or now they have come up with offline stores. But the picture, the kind of a picture that you see on your screen, that's a Cashify store in Bangalore. So now offline also you can buy a refurbished mobile, which is much cheaper as compared to a new mobile. What they also do is whatever component that they have which are not being usable, so they can do it through e-waste recycling also. And what they also have to do is they help in the trading programs of companies like OnePlus and um, Apple and others. If you've seen Apple ads says that if you return old mobile or a old laptop, then this is the value that they will give you in exchange. So those kind of trading programs are also run by Cashify. Next example that I would like to give it is Toyota's remanufacturing initiative. So in this Toyota, what they do is they refurbish, and they refurbish several products in their vehicles, which could be compressors, which could be transmission, power steering racks, cylinder heads, engine and clutch kits. There are multiple products which are refurbished them and offered to the customer. Now, because they are coming from Toyota, so customer has certain belief about the quality of those particular products, and they are coming to the customer at a much lower cost also. And at the same time, uh, Toyota is able to follow their circularity principles, and the raw material as well as the waste to landfills both get reduced in this entire process. So these are some of the examples of product life extension. So this is for the first model that we did. The second model that I would like to talk about is called product as a service. Okay. Have you heard about this particular term called PaaS, product as a service? Okay, so traditionally what happens is that the company sells the product to the customer. So there is a sale transaction which happens and the ownership transfers from producer to the customer. But in case of product as a service, the ownership does not transfer and the product is offered to the customer on a subscription or pay per use model. So this is the way in which the product is offered to the customer, and we'll go to the examples also. But what happens is one of the challenges which was there in the product life extension was that companies were cannibalizing their own sales. So if the product is lasting twice their life, then their sales were also getting down to half. So there was no incentive, or there is some kind of a challenge for the companies also to really follow the model number one. Now, as far as the model number two is concerned, there is all the incentive for the companies to come up with the products which are as lasting as possible, because they themselves are owning this particular product and offering to the customer as a service. So there is no risk of cannibalizing their own business. That is one of the great advantage of this particular model. And this model is also suitable for product where the company believes that they have a better skills in terms of maintaining and operating that particular product. So in those kind of a scenario also, this particular model is far more effective. So yeah, so I will give you some examples of that. So if you have seen websites like Furlanco or Rent Mojo, so they offer furniture, they offer appliances, electronics on a rental basis. So user can take furniture or appliances on a monthly, yearly, or a quarterly subscription basis. And at end of the period, either they can buy that particular product, or they can swap that particular product, or they can return that particular product. And Rent Mojo and other people are responsible for upkeep and the maintenance of those particular products. So even the relocation is also being managed by them. This is a very interesting example. So there is a company called EESL which comes under Ministry of Power, which is Energy Efficiency Saving Limited. Now, what this particular company does is they offer street lighting solution to various municipalities. So municipalities were struggling to put up street lights, and particularly LED street lights. So what EESL does is they spend money on putting up these particular LED street lighting in various municipalities and various cities, and whatever money which is being saved in electricity bill through these LED lighting, that money plows back to EESL in terms of their monthly paybacks or monthly subscriptions. So this is a huge win-win for everybody, where EESL is also getting their money back and municipality also does not have to pay, and they are getting fitted with the LED lights. Avis, if you have traveled any time outside country, then Avis is a car rental model, and they offer cars on a short-term and a long-term basis also. And the rental is a function of the quality of car, the duration for which you are trying to take it, and the origin and the destination. So if you are going to lease it from a particular place and return to the same place, rental is low. But if you return at a different place, then the rental is high. So this is another example of product as a service. This is another interesting example if you know about it. So Philips at multiple places offer lighting as a solution, which they call as a pay per lux model. So if you anytime go to Netherlands Amsterdam Schiphol airport, that particular airport is now being managed on a pay per lux model by Philips. So here the customer pay as per the illumination that they are using, and the entire upkeep and the management of that entire lighting solution is being managed by Philips. So this is mainly done for commercial and industrial application, and Philips have all the incentive to come up with a very lasting product. They decide for the recycling of the end of the life product also. So the entire life cycle of the product is being managed by Philips, and that is the beauty of this entire solution as well. I will very quickly go through this. So this particular company offers jeans as a solution. So the customer can take jeans on a subscription model for 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. And at the end of the period, they can return that particular jeans or they can buy that particular jeans depending upon whatever they want to do it. And the jeans is so designed that it can be very easily recycled by that particular company. Michelin offers tires as a service. So that is a model that they've been practicing for several years. So where the customer pays as per the miles which has been driven on those particular tires. So again, a great example of product as a service. So yeah. So let me come to the next model, which is a sharing model. Sorry, let me be aware about time also. Sorry. Yeah. So let me again go back to the previous example. So suppose if I take sofa on rent, okay, from Furlanco or Rent Mojo, so that is a product as a service kind of a model. But suppose I have a sofa with me which I am not able to use or which is underutilized, and that I offer to say people in my colony on a rental or a monthly kind of a basis, that becomes a sharing model. So in sharing model, what is happening is there are underutilized assets which are there, and that we share from peer to peer to increase the utilization of those particular material or those particular asset. So, so this is what it happens. So there are two, three key things which are there with this particular platform or this particular model. One, there it is a peer-to-peer exchange, and there has to be a platform where you can offer this particular product and where somebody can take it on a rental or a subscription basis. Just to give you an example, I think the biggest example for that is Airbnb. In Airbnb, you have unutilized room or unutilized house, and that can be offered to any particular customer. And this monetizes the asset also, and you are able to make income out of it also. This is another example which was very popular in Bangalore. So there were friends of mine in my colony in Bangalore, and when they used to drive, say from Manarghatta to Bengaluru and other places, they would switch on this particular application called Quick Ride, and on the way they will find co-passengers who are ready to hop into their car in traveling, say from Manarghatta Road all the way up to Bengaluru. Now, what was happening in this particular case? There were two things which was happening. So, a friend of mine was generating a revenue also. At the same time, he was making relationship also. So, this was a very popular app, and it was just utilization of a car ride also. Unfortunately, government of Karnataka has banned it because of pressure from taxi and other operators. But this was a great utilization of asset and a carpooling technique. Uh, Another application which is very popular in US and Europe is an application called Get Around. Now, Get Around is a vehicle version of Airbnb. So in Get Around, there are vehicles, the private vehicles which are there, and they are available on rental basis. So suppose if you go to London or other places, then you can check, and there would be several residents who would be ready to offer their cars on a daily or a weekly basis or a per day basis, and you can take that particular car and then return to that owner. So this is an application which is there, which is again a utilization of assets, which is underutilized asset. So maybe I will skip this. So one of the key, lot of times people get confused between product as a service and the sharing economy also. But the biggest difference is that in the product as a service, the ownership retains with the company. But in case of sharing economy, the ownership is transferred to the user, and then user offers that particular product in a peer group on a peer-to-peer exchange basis. The fourth model that I would like to talk about is circular supply model. So this particular model works at the first stage of the entire value chain that we spoke about, where we try to ensure that whatever material that we use is not virgin but renewable, recycled or bio-based material. And this is also very applicable to industries where the raw materials are scarce. So maybe if you are into rare earth element or cobalt or lithium or very costly wool or costly cotton and those kind of things, then this particular model is extremely applicable for them. So I will just give you certain examples for that. So what you see on the your pictures are four pictures from IKEA product. All of them are using recycled. So the first one is using recycled cotton to make a rug. The second one is using recycled plastic to make a lamp. The other one is using recycled polyester to make curtains. And fourth one is using recycled fabric and piping to make mats. Another very good example, this is from Sony. So Sony has got a recycled plastic called Sword Plus, and this particular recycled plastic is used to make the rear part of their televisions. So rear part of the television need not to be so fancy. So by applying this particular application, they have been able to reduce the usage of virgin plastic by almost 50%. Uh, this is another one. Mr. Pandya also spoke about that. So now what is Adidas is doing is they are now interacting with the parlay of the ocean, where ocean waste is being used to convert into shoes. So that is another application which is being done. Uh, Bamboo is another material which is there. So a lot of companies like Lexus and BMW, so they are experimenting with bamboo interiors. And you can see in the pictures also, these bamboo interiors are looking far more superior than plastic interiors. So that's another application that is possible. Uh, there's a company called Kalyani Steel, if you know, they are located in Pune. And what they have done is they have come with the first green steel in India. And this particular entire journey of their coming up with the first green steel in India has also been documented by us as a case study. So they have an electric arc furnace. In electric arc furnace, they use steel scrap as a raw material, and the energy for this particular furnace also come from renewable sources. So we have a scrap material, and the energy also coming from renewable sources. So that makes the entire output as a green steel. And this was inaugurated by minister also, and it's the first green steel which has been produced in the country. Uh, Yeah, the last model that I want to talk about is a resource recovery model. So in resource recovery model, what we are trying to impact the last stage of the product, okay, where we attempt to recycle the waste into some kind of a secondary material. There is a lot of innovations, lot of research which is happening as to how to recycle various kind of products. There are three models that I would like to very quickly talk to you about. First is called closed loop recycle, second is industrial symbiosis, and third is cradle to cradle design. In closed loop recycling, what we do is that we believe we try to use the product to make a similar kind of product at the end of the life. So just to give you an example, suppose we have an aluminum can, so that aluminum can is melted to produce one more aluminum can. So that new aluminum can is equally good in terms of quality. So we can use steel scrap also, or aluminum can also, or PET, recycled PET also. These are all examples of closed loop recycling where we use the same material to produce the same product. In industrial symbiosis, the raw material from one industry becomes the waste from one industry becomes the raw material for another industry. So just to give you an example, say slag, which is the waste from steel industry, or maybe fly ash, which is the waste from thermal power plant, that becomes a raw material to cement plants. So that is an example of industrial symbiosis. In cradle to cradle design, what we do is when we are designing the product itself, we ensure that at the end of life of the product, we either reuse or recycle that particular product. So at the time of designing itself, we design in such a fashion. So just to give you an example, this is Herman Miller chair that you see. That's again a very famous example, and it has again been documented as a Harvard case study. So here, 94% of the material which is being used is recycled, and this entire chair can be very easily deassembled and recycled, and this entire product can be very easily recycled. Similarly, we spoke about Philips lighting also. Deso comes with a carpet which are completely made from recycled yarns, and that particular yarn can be used to make another set of carpets for them. Maybe I will skip this. Dell's own PCB recycling unit. Yeah, so this is something that we use at IIM Bangalore also. So we every day generate about 200 to 300 kgs of food waste, and then the entire food waste we put into some kind of a digester, and from that digester we are able to produce biogas, and that particular biogas we are able to use mainly for our kitchen purposes only, but otherwise we can store in a balloon also, and tomorrow we can have a biogas generator also. This particular sofa that you see is again a sofa which is being displayed or produced by IKEA, and that uses two denim jeans at the end of their life. And by doing so, they have saved 27,000 liters of water and reduced the carbon footprint by almost 67%. This particular T-shirt that you see is being worn by CEO of H&M, and they say this particular T-shirt is a T-shirt from thin air. And the reason why they say that is because when they were producing this particular T-shirt, what they did is they did a direct air capture of carbon dioxide. So they did a direct air capture of carbon dioxide, converted that carbon dioxide into pellets, and from that pellets they produced polyester yarns and polyester fabric, and that particular fabric was used to produce this particular T-shirt. So it's not an easy process, it's a very costly process, but just to demonstrate, this is something that we can do. So this is a kind of a product which is from completely a thin air. Uh, Etero Recycling, so that is again a very large recycling company. So they are the largest in terms of e-waste recycling. So any kind of e-waste which is there, so they collect it and they do recycling, which is a part of EPR and other things also. Yeah, so this is kind of a, again, these are the five models. I hope I was able to demonstrate to them as to how do they work in various parts of the entire value chain. Uh, I don't know how well I'm doing in terms of time, so if I can borrow five more minutes from all of you. Uh, yeah, so Uh, in the last phase of this entire presentation, there are about 6, 7 sectors where I wanted to demonstrate as to how these particular models work in various industries or various sectors. So let me start with automobile sector. So what you see on your screen is an automobile value chain, which starts with some kind of a raw material, which could be steel, plastic, rubber, aluminum, and others. From that, we manufacture various components like engines and batteries and other things also. And then there is some kind of a sub assembly like powertrains and systems and others, and then we do the final vehicle assembly. Then there is a sales, service, and maintenance, and then end of the life. Now, in this entire cycle, we can apply these particular five products. So, circular supply chain. So we can use recycled steel, plastic, and aluminum. We can have PaaS model, product as a service. So a lot of companies like Volvo and other people are offering their cars on a subscription model also. So that is where we can apply PaaS in automobile industry. True values, and so many companies buy old vehicles, they refurbish them and offer them as a second inning kind of a cars. So that is a product life extension which is possible in automobile industry. Then we can have sharing economy. So the quick ride that we spoke about, that is an example of sharing economy. We have Ola shares and others also. And lastly, at the end of life of the car, we can recycle material from batteries, metals, and others. We can extract some kind of value from them. So all five models that we spoke about are applicable as far as automobile industry is concerned.